my colleagues, Emily and Kayla.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations. It's good to see everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm just having a slight audio problem, but hi. Sorry, just give me one moment and I'll be back with you.
Okay, so today's a really big day. We have 58 graduates today. We have a huge number, the biggest graduating class that we had in one. It's an incredible thing to have so many future Casas ready to jump in. And today's the day when you cross that threshold. So looking forward to seeing all your smiling faces, reading out your oaths, and officially becoming Casas and being introduced to your advocate supervisors. Are you all excited? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, very excited.
Awesome. Okay, so there are some tech information to know. And while Emily gets situated, I wanted to let you all know, or I can pass the baton to her and she can jump in. Go ahead, Emily.
Hi. Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Emily, and I'm one of the other trainers. So I've had the pleasure of facilitating one of the groups and co-facilitating one of the others. So just to run through a few things before we get started, could you make sure that your videos are all turned on and that you're in full view of the camera throughout? Keep yourself muted and then unmute yourself once we get to the swearing in section. And also feel free to unmute when there are any questions that you'd like to ask, if there's opportunity at the end to ask those. Any issues with tech, feel free to privately message me in the chat, or you can send me an email. I'll pop my email in the chat for you here. There you are. Yeah, have your oaths at hand, and yeah, congratulations, everyone. Thank you, Taina.
Just to introduce our very special guest who's here today, who will be graduating you all. Judge Zeke Zeidler has been on the bench for 20 years. He is a big fan of Casas, and I want to pass along the baton to him. Go ahead, Judge Zeidler.
Woohoo, go Casa. Hi, I'm Judge Zeidler, and I may have spoken to some of you. I know Judge Bianco spoke to some of you about the system. Before we get started, just wanted to talk a little bit about the value of Casa, and for you and any of your family who are watching to really understand and have a sense of what you're taking on today. You are getting a unique opportunity to affect the lives of children, one child at a time or one sibling group at a time. There are many ways that might happen, and many areas that it might cover. It might be education issues, medical issues, placement issues, therapy issues, preparing a child for college. I always like at some point in my doing this to show you my lovely alma mater, because for any of you who end up working with transition age youth, all of the colleges and universities in California have specific services and programs for former foster youth, including the Resilient Scholars Program at Cal State Northridge. The thing that started on my screen as my virtual background was the Scrobal Cultural Center. And one reason I always have that up is because if you have a younger Casa child, one day when we're allowed to go out in the world again, you can take them to the Noah's Ark exhibit at the Scrobal, not to be competing with any Casa trainee who might happen to work at the Getty, who I'm sure she might be able to get all of you passes to take your foster kids and get great tours at the Getty, but I at least wanted to point that out. So before I talk just a little more about the opportunities as a CASA, are there one or two people who have any questions now that you've been through the whole training that you'd like to ask while you have a judge before you for a minute or two? And the question is whether they have the ability to unmute themselves, which I was assuming, and they do.
They should
Anyone?
be able to.
If you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourselves.
We had one raised hand. Yeah.
Hi, Judge Zeke. Thank you for being part of the graduation today. My question to you is, with your experience now as we're going through this with COVID restrictions, what are your, what are some advice that you give us as CASAs as we're coming into this, new world with, with assisting our youth in the court system via virtual?
I have to say, I was just thinking this morning about the CASA graduation, and I was thinking about how more than ever now is a time when kids need CASAs because of being disconnected from school, from community, from activities, from social workers necessarily being able to see them as frequently. So I think that this is a period when more frequent contact with a CASA child and a CASA is really important, so they have that feeling of connectedness. About 3 months ago, I remember watching that Spectrum News channel that comes up on your TV now whenever you turn on your TV, and they were interviewing a former foster youth who's a foster care advocate, and she was talking about, for her fear at this period was so many foster kids who are in group homes and don't have any ability to get out at all, and how isolated they are. So I think number one is that ongoing contact with the child so they know there's someone there for them. Two is really looking at how to assess their ability to visit with family and others, depending on what restrictions are in place at the time. Near the beginning of the pandemic, the LA courts had issued an order that all in-person visits with parents were suspended. And on a statewide level, we passed emergency rules that talked about you can't just suspend all visits. You need to look at various factors. Can the visit be safely held? You have parents who are self-isolating. You have grandparent caretakers who rely on that parent to help out three hours a day. So it might be that you're the one who's able to navigate with social workers and with foster parents who are concerned about the child having contact with people, that you might be the one who's able to navigate ways for children to safely participate in activities and see family and all of that. So that's just the starting thoughts I have when you ask that. One other question, and I love the painting behind you. So if I spoke to you, I may have told you one story about a successful CASA case of mine. I usually tell a couple because I really want you to understand that, it might be that you have a child who it's preparing for emancipation or education issue or making sure that they're getting the right dental treatment or something like that. But sometimes it's, some of these cases, you are really going to be doing things that are just unimaginable in the life of a child. And the two stories I usually talk about, one of them was written about in the newspaper a bit, which is why I talk about him. His name was Dodger. He was severely physically abused as an infant, and it wasn't clear whether he'd ever be able to walk again. He didn't have upper body strength and mobility. First CASA was on the case for a little bit. The second CASA, a very experienced CASA, came on the case. She went to every single meeting at the hospital. She was the one keeping track of all the medical issues. At some point, she was the one who learned of a assisted walking device, a gait trainer that he could get, how to access it, got it for him. Once a potential adoptive mother was identified in Illinois, She started including her by speakerphone in all of the medical meetings. When she flew out, she had her come to visit with him. Eventually, we did the adoption in my chambers, and they were in Illinois, and we were on Skype, and Lynn was there, and the Casa was there. And their whole house had Dodger banners up because it was Dodger Day in Illinois. A few years later, when Dodger was about 10 or 11 years old, his Casa, Jan Miller, showed me a photo of him walking with leg braces on a Tommy Hilfiger runway in New York. Jan, his Casa passed away about a year ago. I was at her house visiting her about a year and a half ago, and we did FaceTime with him. He now plays sled hockey, where he sits in a sled, someone pushes him. He plays hockey in tournaments. He was just about to go to Florida at the time for a tournament in Florida. And that's one Casa who just was there for the medical needs of this child and was the one who was able to ensure that he had every opportunity to reach every potential he could. And today, he really has been able to do that. One of the newspaper articles talked about him playing baseball, where he would hit the ball and someone would run for him. And so he was playing in a baseball league as well. The other one, I am taking up a lot of time, but I really think it's valuable for you to hear how fulfilling this work can be, is a kid who was 9 years old in a group home. And we don't have a lot of kids that young in a group home. And he had mild autism, had some anger issues. His Casa had only had daughters. She'd never had experience with little boys, but for her first visit, she found out that he likes bugs, and she took a couple of books about bugs, and they became really tight. And she realized at some point, and I never connected till later that she was the one who got him involved. She realized at some point that he needed some group activity, extracurricular activity. He liked uniforms. So she got him involved in the Boy Scouts. And every hearing, every court hearing, she would make a million orders. She was a pain in the butt. The county council and the social worker just had their hands full. And the one order she would always ask for, that I would always make, was that the social workers ensure that he was transported to his Boy Scout meetings. And no matter how far, because they moved him from group home to group home, foster homes that didn't work out, that they were to transport him to his Boy Scout meetings. At some point, a Boy Scout mom took an interest in him, offered to transport him. The Casa got her approved for that. The Casa got her approved for unmonitored visits. The Casa found out how to get her approved for placement. And eventually he ended up placed with that Boy Scout mom. A couple of years later, she ended up relocating to Alameda County. Her husband and son stayed down here, but he ended up going back into a group home. When he was 16, he moved back in with her in Alameda County. His Eagle Scout project was in Alameda County. There's the USS Hornet Aircraft Carrier Museum. It has a chapel that's open to the public on Sundays. It had those 3 chairs like an airport all connected together. His Eagle Scout project was making 8 from scratch gorgeous wooden pews for the chapel and the Aircraft Carrier Museum. On my birthday weekend, the Casa and her husband and my husband and I all flew up to Oakland and went to his Eagle Scout ceremony on the USS Hornet Aircraft Carrier Museum. And the person he had put on his Eagle Scout badge, see, I get choked up, wasn't his Scoutmaster, wasn't some other Eagle Scout. It was his Casa who he had put on his Eagle Scout pin. And at that point, he had been holding down a job for a year at Bed Bath & Beyond. By the way, he made his Eagle Scout faster than anyone because he had to do it before he hit a certain age. And then he ended up changing jobs to, I think, Home Depot, went into the Sea Scouts, still came down every 6 months for his court hearings as a non-minor dependent, and his Casa was with him at every one of those meetings. And the last one that I wasn't going to talk about, but talking about a Casa always being there with you, there is a judge in Portland, Oregon. Judge Torres, who a couple of years ago, a theater troupe in Portland did a play about her life. And one of the main characters in her life was her Casa. And one of the main characters in the play is her Casa, who has been her Casa for over 30 years and has continued in her life for over 30 years. And they brought the play down here for a fundraiser for Casa LA, but it is up to you as to what type of relationship you form with the child, whether it's just being there to make sure their needs are met and to let the court know what orders are needed and what services are needed, or to become an unofficial mentor and that person who is always there in their life. Casa has a wonderful book with essays by foster kids who have had Casas, and every single essay talks about my attorney changed, my placement changed, my judge changed. The one person who was always there for me was my Casa. So those are my stories about why what you're doing is so important and how big of an impact you can have on a child. And on that note, I am going to turn off my screen for a half a minute, and all of you have in front of you, or they're going to put it in the chat, the script that you're going to repeat after me for the swearing in.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll pop it in the chat for everyone. And just a reminder for everyone who is not being sworn in, if you could turn your videos off. We'll just have those that are swearing in with their videos on, and a reminder to unmute as well at this bit. Thank you.
And when I used to do this in person, I didn't put the robe on. Some judges would put the robe on. Now I just feel like in remote, you need to know and feel this is real. So I have the robe on for you. So I'm going to ask the Casa graduating class if you can unmute yourselves. And when I say I state your name, you're going to say I, and you're going to state your name. And please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Willis,
Hereby swear
Hereby swear
that I will truly,
faithfully
perform the duties court-appointed special advocate
of
The court-appointed special advocate
in all cases
in all cases
I am appointed.
To which I am appointed.
I am appointed.
That I will do so
I will do so
Law
according to law
Policies
and always act in the best interest.
that I will always act in the best interest of the child for whom I am appointed.
I am appointed.
Child, children for whom I am appointed.
Good job.
Yay!
Family. For the family and friends, the last part was that I will do so according to the law and the policies of Casa of Los Angeles, and that I will always act in the best interest of the child or children for whom I am appointed. And at some point I ended up muted. So congratulations, but there's one more bit of duty here. As court-appointed volunteers, you will have access to dependency court legal files and proceedings. As you know, these files and dependency court proceedings are confidential. You are charged with the responsibility of upholding the confidentiality of these cases. You are not to discuss these cases nor reveal the identity of these children with any persons other than those individuals who are rightly involved in the case. This would include those court personnel, social workers, family members, the children not your own, attorneys, or other professionals assigned to the case. So raise your right hand again and repeat after me. And if you don't like swear, you can use affirm. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly
Swear.
Hold the confidentiality.
To hold the confidentiality.
The information.
And the information.
Contained in the legal files.
Contained in the legal files.
And all other case information.
And all other case information.
Comes to my attention. During the course of my work. As a court-appointed special advocate.
As a court-appointed special advocate.
Mazel tov. I'm going to have you all mute yourselves again. And this is the point where if we were in a room together, you know, there are benefits of COVID. If I spoke to your class, I may have talked about our first hearing is pushed out a couple of days and it gives the attorneys time to meet the parents and talk to the kids. I'm finding it much more trauma informed because a parent logs on to the computer and they get a judge saying, "Good morning, this is Judge Zeidler who just logged on." And there's much more talking to them and making sure they understand everything. Well, one of the benefits of COVID is that if we were in person, you'd walk up, we'd shake hands, we'd take a picture together. Maybe a third of you might have a spouse or a friend with you. Now we have 50 of you who probably almost all have some family or friend somewhere across the country watching that you get to give a shout out to. So we are going to do what Casa calls a virtual handshake. And I am going to call out your name and ask you to unmute yourself. And I'm going to give you a choice. You can either tell me what you do for a living or how you found out about Casa. And you can give a shout out and let us know if you have any friends or family watching. And we're going to go in reverse alphabetical order. And I am giving full disclosure that there is one person in this group who is like family to me. And I'm very excited to be able to swear that one in. But I'm not disclosing who, so none of you feel slighted. So on that note, Renee Willis.
Hi, Casas. Congratulations. Thank you, Dr. Z, Judge Z, for being here. I'd like to give a shout out to my daughter, Latoya Perry, who told me about Casa, and also to Chris Paul, my former co-worker at Edison. I have family and friends here to support me and to pray for me through this process. And I hope to be an awesome Casa along with all of my cohorts. Thank you. Woo!
Thank you. You got everything in. Your daughter told you, and you work at Edison.
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Charlotte Williams.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm at work. I had to use my phone because I couldn't connect my laptop to the internet here for some reason. Anyway, well, I work for LAPD, so that should explain why I can't connect to the internet. And I found out about Casa on social media, and I do a lot of volunteering. I thought this would be a good fit for me.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
And I'm hoping, if he's not at work still, I'm hoping my son is watching. If he is, hi, honey.
Oh, that's great. You know, I talk about how I work for the LA Superior Court, so I have horrible internet feed, and at some point my connection is going to get bad.
You know, we have like dial-up here or something. I don't know. It's bad.
By the way, since we're alphabetically backwards, and I was Z and I was Zeidler, I think that my mom and maybe my nieces and a sibling or two are all watching at my parents' house. So that's my shout out to them. My mom always loved coming and watching me in court, so I figured.
Really?
Okay, next up, Julie Weil.
Hi. I want to give a shout out to my husband, Peter, who's watching, and my son, Alex, and my daughter, Kaylee, and my mom, and my friend, Nancy. And I heard about this through a good friend, Mina Hersher. So I want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to it.
You can make sure Mina knows that I gave a pitch for the Scrobal.
You know what? I will. I'll tell her.
For those of you who don't know, Mina's husband founded the Scrobal Cultural Center and just retired last month, and she's a Casa. Thank you. Sally Troncoso.
Hi all. I'd like to give a shout out to my partner Nada, who is watching and recording. So thanks for joining. And I learned about Casa when researching ways to get involved in my local community after recently moving to LA. And I'm very excited to work with children and possibly make a difference in their lives. And yeah, congrats everyone.
Where'd you move here from?
New York. I'm a native New Yorker. I've been out here for 1 year, closed out my first year here in COVID lockdown. So it's been interesting.
Congratulations. Thank you. So you were the energy in your class, right? It's good to have energy. And next up is Melissa Tingley.
Hi, thank you. I found Casa through Googling ways to get involved with foster children without actually fostering yet because I wasn't ready. So that's how I found Casa. I'd like to thank my husband who's sitting right next to me. He's just not in the frame. And I'm also an interior designer, so it'll be fun to see if there's any ways that these can connect at all. But yeah, so that's how I wanted to get involved.
Great, thank you. You know, I once told someone I didn't have kids yet because I wasn't ready to change my life. And she said, no, just get a kid and your life will change. Just
Exactly.
Ian Stolberg.
Hi, I'm a retired clinical social worker, and I found out about Casa through my husband, Bob Berman, who's the chief financial officer of Casa. So he eased my way into it, and I'm particularly interested in working on their new essential history project. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm delighted to be part of this event.
Great, congratulations, thank you. Carrie Stevens.
Hi, I don't have anybody watching, so I'll just give a shout out to all the other folks that were able to watch in the middle of a Friday. I work in community relations for the film industry, and I found out about this through social media.
Great. You know, we have more and more people in the film industry getting involved as Casas, and I just think there must be some way to network all the Casa film industry people to figure out what that could tap in for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bahara Stapleberg.
Hi, I'm excited to be here. I am an attorney, and I learned about Casa when I was in law school, and yeah, I'm excited to finally be here. And I want to give a shout out to my husband and my 3 kids, who are all in 3 to 4 different places. Hopefully they're watching. And anyway, thank you so much.
At least they're all visible behind you.
Exactly. Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Erica Stafford.
Hello, everyone. I want to just give a shout out to all my fellow Casas. Yay, we did it. And then I learned about Casa when speaking about volunteer opportunities with a fellow classmate at UCLA. My day job is student/registered behavior technician, working with kiddos on the spectrum, which I absolutely love. So I figured this would be like a pretty easy transition. And yeah, I'm really excited to get started. Congrats, everybody. Yay.
Congrats. And that's good energy, this group. Laura Sorensen.
Hi, everyone. I am a biologist, but I'm working on a master's in couple and family therapy. I learned about Casa through the foster care project because I was looking for opportunities to tutor foster kids. And I'd also like to become a foster parent at some point when I'm ready. So I don't have anyone watching, but congratulations, everyone.
Great photographs. Photographs behind you or paintings?
There are photographs, but they're put on canvas.
Great. We have one of those photographs put on canvas. Highly recommend it. Dana Simon.
Hi, I'm also an attorney. I do work in education advocacy and also guardianship work with the Karsh Legal Center, who Casa, I understand, is now going to partner with. My family is surrounded here with me and they've been very supportive. And I just want to thank Tiana for our class. She was a wonderful teacher. And thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Right. There was something I was going to ask you. What kind of law?
That's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. I raised my kids and then.
So I always tell people that Casa has probably better special education training for their volunteers than social workers have. Am I right up to this point from your experience?
Yes, the type of work that I've been doing, the education advocacy, guardianship, conservatorships for Bates Eddick. Sometimes I'd go to their clinics. Everything is sort of coalescing now in this Casa training, which has been really interesting.
Great, thank you. Shandy Schwabel.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Judge. Nice to see you again. I guess I'll shout out my parents who I hope are watching, my grandmother who's watching if anyone gave her the link, and my best friend. And I am a UCLA student and a teacher to children and college students. And I don't remember how I found out about Casa, but I'm really glad I did because it was years ago and this has been a long time coming and I'm really excited. So.
Great, thank you. Erin Scherfenberg.
Hey everyone, I'm Erin. I'm a director of marketing and I found out about Casa talking to a colleague about fostering, knowing that I wasn't quite ready for that, but definitely wanted to make an impact on a child's life. I went into Casa super excited to be here, super proud to go through all the training with everybody and just excited to get started.
Great. So excited. You know, we get to see everyone's artwork. I wish I could see the things on your back right because they look like they're probably really great. Dawn Runge.
Hi there. I'm a chiropractor and my fiance's in the other room, but also watching on YouTube, and I think our parents are as well. So just wanted to say thank you to the judge and all of our trainers and our guest speakers. I was previously at Casa about 8 or 9 years ago in a different state. So seeing how well this was put together, especially over Zoom, was really cool to see and really looking forward to working in the system here.
Great, thank you. Training over Zoom. We're about to train new judges on Zoom statewide because of not being able to do in person. I more power to all of you. Kimberly Posen.
Hi, good afternoon. My mom and my Aunt June were Casas in New Orleans, and so this is dedicated to them. I always wanted to be a Casa one day. And I'd like to give a shout out to my boyfriend Will, who's watching in the other room, but his guitars are behind me, and also to Rebecca and to Topaz, John, Iris, Reem, Elizabeth, everyone else who I texted who said they would try to get off Netflix long enough to watch this. There's Tiger King or there's Casa.
I'm just hoping that people whose last names start with B and C, that their friends stay through to the end. Taylor, thank you, congratulations. Taylor Polidor.
Hi.
Tell me if I mispronounced your last name.
No, you pronounced it correctly. Wait, okay, so I'm trying to remember what the order is. I'm an actress. I found out about Casa through my grandmother who passed away 5 years ago. And I started the process in 2016. So I'm so happy to finally be sworn in and get to work. I want to give a shout out to my parents. Maybe my brother is watching. They're all the way in Texas. Dre, Jeff, Jasmine, and Sandy, I think. I think that might be who's watching.
See, we didn't have brothers from Texas here in person when we used to do these live. Congratulations.
Right. Thank you.
Christine Noguera. Is Christine here? Because there are 50 of you and we've never had this many, and I was so impressed that everyone was here up to this point.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I found out about Casa through social media, through an acquaintance of mine. He and his fiance are Casas, and I'm just very grateful for him sharing the program with me because this has been very fulfilling. I used to do veteran outreach, and I just feel like starting with the kids could possibly nip a lot of issues in the bud early. I'm currently in logistics, and I'm just very grateful to be here. I'm grateful to my family and friends who've all been very supportive throughout the program. I have a little one, so they all take turns babysitting my mother-in-law and my sons, and obviously her father. They've all been very great, and thank you all very much. It's been such a joy to learn all the things and all the people working hard to help our children who are underserved. Thank you, Your Honor, for your time.
Fathers don't babysit. And your friend who's a Casa, is that in LA?
Yes.
And who's that?
His name is Ryan Poley, and his fiance is Samantha Tirani.
Great, thank you. Jennifer Menchaca.
Hi, thanks for being here, Judge. Appreciate it. It's nice to see everybody's faces, by the way, after all this time together. I found out about Casa about 30 years ago when I was at the University of Texas at Austin. I worked on a pro bono campaign with everybody in my group, and Casa was our client, and I learned so much about the program. So it's been 30 years in the making. Eventually, I'd like to be a foster mother as well. Going to give a shout out to my fiance Brent, who's watching me and making faces behind hook 'em horns behind the screen right here, and my daughter who's 7 years old. I'm in the fashion business, and I am wearing fashionable sweatpants beneath these blazer.
Perfect.
Just thought I'd admit that to everybody right now.
How long has he been your fiance?
Excuse me?
How long has he been your fiance?
2 years.
I have a robe. Okay, moving right along. Martha Merriam.
Hi, and I want to also say thank you, Judge. You bring such just lightness and compassion to this that it's lovely. I am an actor and a teaching artist with the Story Pirates. So I teach creative writing in elementary schools all over LA when they are open. And I heard about Casa also through social media. Like many people, I'm not in a position to be a foster parent yet, but I really love children, and this feels like the perfect fit. And I just want to give a shout out to all of my fellow trainees. It's been lovely getting to know you guys a little bit, and I just know there were, in the moments when something got challenging, it was just really wonderful to think about all of you and being like, they're doing it, let's go, So thanks for everything, everyone.
I do hope the Story Pirates get to at least be doing it remote with elementary school kids, and that they keep doing it.
Yeah, we're doing a bunch of cool stuff, but I miss being in the classroom.
Mingale.
Hi, everyone. So I found out about Casa through just research. It's a population that I'm super passionate about, so I'm super excited to get started. As far as shout outs, just to my family, my friends, a special thank you to my mom and dad. Just really appreciate everyone here, and I think we're all just very excited to get started.
Great, thank you. Very exciting. Love your orchid, by the way. Jennifer Sinha. No, did I get that right? Did they do it backwards? Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
you did.
I did.
Thank you. Jennifer Sinha. Thank you, Judge, and congratulations, everyone. I would love to give a shout out to my family who's watching from LA and New York and Texas also. I appreciate their support, as well as my friend who is like family, who wrote one of my recommendations that's also watching. I decided to join Casa because I was looking for opportunities to volunteer in the LA community that really focused on one-on-one relationships, and I'm really looking forward to being matched this afternoon with a youth in the LA area.
That's it. One-on-one relationships. That's wonderful. Thank you. Kathleen and Tarian.
Hi, I'm excited to be here. I don't have anyone watching because we are moving my daughter into her college dorm this weekend, so I'm super excited about that. I learned about Casa from my sister who adopted an amazingly wonderful little boy a couple of years ago, and the Casa was instrumental in it, and that's what got me interested. So I'm very excited to be here with everyone.
And what university or college are you moving her into?
Notre Dame, and they're actually there. So it's really exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
One down.
Yeah.
Sophie Howard. Sophie, if you're muted, unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm back. I heard about Casa from my friend Mary Beth Evans, who's been a Casa person for a very long time. And I'm just super excited. I've been wanting to do this for over 10 years and finally found the time and thrilled. The training was, I don't know. Sorry, someone's calling me.
Don't worry.
The training was great. I learned so much and I'm just super excited. I want to shout out to my mom and my two boys who are watching and who are amazing activists themselves. And they kind of really inspired me.
Great. Congratulations. Thank you. Claire Hopkins.
Hi, everyone. I found Casa. I was doing research online for a while, looking for an organization that I felt was making a real difference, and it's been really great, and I'm happy to be here. I love the training. I'm so excited to get started, and I'm going to give a shout out to my parents, my brother, and my boyfriend who are watching.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations. You know, where was I? Claire Hopkins. You have this great look right now with the plant just beside you. You should frame that as your Casa picture, as your Zoom picture. Denise Guy, you know, I have a really good friend who's a judge, who's a wonderful juvenile judge, was a juvenile judge in Santa Cruz named Denise Guy. Denise Guy.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. As you stated, my name is Denise Guy, and I found out about Casa through several friends that I volunteer with, and my niece is also a Casa. So I'm glad to be here, and I want to give a special thanks to our instructors. We had a fabulous group, and I really appreciate all the efforts that the instructors put into bringing us up to speed. My background is in endowments, and I was formerly a paralegal with the Department of Justice.
Wow, great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Congratulations. Tigist Jessica. Tell me if I pronounced that totally wrong.
Close enough. It's Casa.
Tell me your name again.
Casa. Tigist Casa.
Tigist. It was Tigist.
Yeah, it was Tigist. Hi. Thank you. And congrats, everyone. I found out about Casa a few years ago while researching for volunteer opportunities with kids in particular. And I thought the lockdown the last few months was a great opportunity to sign up and do the training. So I am looking forward to diving in. Learned a lot of information during the training, so I'm excited.
You know, I have to tell you, the trainings they do, I got there early recently and they were doing this whole thing about assessing a case, and the judges have never had that training on that scale of assessing cases that you all had. It was pretty amazing. Adrienne Flores.
Hi, Judge. I'm a hairstylist, and one of my clients told me about Casa, and it sounded exactly what I wanted to do. And my husband's watching in the other room, and I have family all over and friends watching. Thank you.
We have like 78 people at least watching. Stephanie Flagg.
Sorry, I'm muting myself. Hi. I found out, first I found out about Casa because someone had posted on social media like a flyer with information. And then I had the tab open on my computer like for a few weeks, hadn't done anything. And my friend Kathleen and Tyrion, who's on here, texted me and said, hey, will you will you be
Reference.
a reference for me? Sorry, I'm nervous. Will you be a reference for me? I'm going through the Casa. Sorry, again, I'm nervous. I would. All right, let me start.
Take a deep breath. Okay.
Hoping you'd skip me, but so she asked if I'd be a reference for her, and I said, "Oh my gosh, are you seriously doing this?" And she said yes, and so I said, "Okay, I'm going to do it too." So we're being sworn in together today. So I'm excited.
And as I may have told a class, we have Casa spouses who do cases together, best friends who do cases together. One of the very first team that was put on a case together, the person who put them on together got in trouble because they're their own person. Years later, they ended up together being the Casa of the year. So, you know, the two of you could even do cases together.
We are, I think. We are.
Oh, good. Morgan Ferguson.
Hi. I am a director of growth at a technology company. I found out about Casa actually from Casa Dallas when I was looking into different ways to get involved with fostering youth, because like many of you guys, I want to do that eventually as well. And I will give a shout out to my mom and my puppy who are here watching me. But also shout out to all the other people's boyfriends who are here watching, because mine chose fantasy football draft over this. So congrats to everybody who got their significant others to watch.
Wow. You know, if you got Goff or Donald, you can give him a break.
He had the first round pick. Christian somebody, apparently. I don't know.
Okay. You know, give him one pass on this one. Elizabeth Edwards.
Hi, thank you so much, Judge Zeidler. I want to give a shout out to my daughter Colette, who I think is watching, and my husband Keith, who is a Casa and has been for a few years. And we found out about it from his aunt and uncle in Fort Collins, Colorado, Mark and Adri Magnuson, who have been Casas for a long time, and I believe they're supervisors now. And I want to say hi to my family in Texas, my parents, Martha and Doug, and Bill and Lisa, and to Josh Golden, Stacy Widger, and Gerard Dawson, who wrote my recommendations. And I'm saying this because I think you would all be great Casas. Hint, hint. Okay, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this.
That is a really good point. If you ask people to be your Casa reference, then it's people who would understand what values you need to be a Casa, which perfect people to recruit. Like it. And they're even putting in the chat. Liz is recruiting already. Love it. Joanne Dosick.
Hi, thank you, Judge. I found out Casa through Julie Weil, who you've already spoken to. And Melissa, I am also an interior designer, so perhaps we could collaborate on something together. I want to give a big shout out to my family back east, parents and sister who's watching, my mom here in California, and my husband and my kids who, thank you, left me alone every Tuesday from 4 to 7:30. So that was huge. So I'm very excited, can't wait to start, and congratulations to everybody.
Your family loves you if they left you alone. Barbara Demon.
Hi, thank you, Judge Zeidler. I am a nurse practitioner and a nursing professor at UCLA, and I have a strong affinity for the foster youth and that population. Not in a place to foster yet, but looking forward to that. So I thought Casa would be a great start and introduction. And the training just blew my mind. I had no idea the training was going to be this extensive and wonderful, and working with everybody else within the training and being inspired, just really hearing everybody is so inspiring. And I want to give a shout out to my husband, who's also in the room and dancing and has a funny hat on and is very supportive. So yeah, so thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And everyone remember which one has the medical training and can explain terminology to you. Jackson Clow.
Thank you, Judge. I found out about Casa from my mom, who is a Casa. She still is doing it and loves it. So she was really helpful in the process. Shout out to her. Shout out to my girlfriend, Becca, who I think is watching right now. And I work in the film industry at a talent agency, so definitely would love to meet other people in the same boat there. And thank you, Emily, so much. You were so helpful in the process. So really excited to get going.
You know, I spoke to Emily's Casa class. Emily was a star student in her Casa class. One thing that you all need to understand is that when Wendy came along, suddenly Casa staff actually started going through the Casa trainings and taking Casa kids themselves. And that is a major difference, is that you're gonna have supervisors and trainers who actually totally understand the process, having done it themselves. So Emily's a star. They're all stars. Elena Chestnut.
Hello. First of all, I kind of want to apologize for the lighting in the background. Like my internet was just not working at all and it was super spotty. So I had to like plug it in to the modem. Like, so I'm kind of in this like office area. But I work as a research scientist for the Department of Defense. And I figured out about Casa because I was watching these documentaries where people were telling their stories of how they became murderers. And I noticed this pattern where they had several opportunities where they had reached out to adults that could have intervened in the abuse that they were experiencing. And they were sort of failed by the people that they reached out to. And so I wanted to do something to be that person that could not fail somebody. And so I Googled it and I found Casa that way.
Wow. Thank you so much. Jillian Chamberlain.
Hello, I'm Jillian. I am a freelance digital strategist. I found out about Casa because I was doing some research online looking for different ways that I could volunteer. And I don't have anyone watching. My family knows that this is happening, but as family tech support, it would have taken me too long to explain to them how to view it. So they wished me well and it's all good.
Thank you. Eleanor Burgess.
Hi. So I used to work in fashion before we moved to Los Angeles. And my friend who lived in Texas for a long time recommended Casa as a way to get involved with the community. And I think my parents and my in-laws are watching at home at the moment in the UK. So it's pretty late there. But yeah, thank you everyone. Really happy to be here.
I tell you, I don't know where we're getting all these British Casas because the last graduating class, I think there were 2 or 3. And they didn't know each other. Congratulations.
We're everywhere. We're everywhere.
That's not a bad thing. Scott Buteau.
Yes, good to see you all. I'm a software engineer and I heard about Casa from my church, and I was also involved in a summer camp called Royal Family Kids Camp that I've been doing the past couple of years. I'd like to make a shout out to my girlfriend who was super supportive along the way, Jessica. So thank you, Jessica. And also, yeah, our training teacher, Emily, you're great. So thanks, Emily.
Thank you. Sylvia Blas.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Blas. I recently became a stay-at-home mom. So you probably hear my munchkin. And I've gone back to school at Cal State Dominguez to be a social worker. I heard about Casa because my 2 youngest siblings were adopted through the foster care system. And it was something, you know, I'm very grateful that they became my family. So I knew growing up that I wanted to help out in some way. If I couldn't foster, definitely in other ways. So that's why I'm on my way of becoming a social worker. And right now I'm a Casa and I'm enjoying it. So thank you to Taina and to Kayla for everything.
Phenomenal. Your parents are saints. You have a parent who's a saint for having fostered and adopted, and look at the experience it gave you. You know, one thing I'll say about being a Casa is Casa kids, they get something out of it, but there's definitely a lot you get out of it, and you have that experience from having had adopted siblings. Leslie Blaine.
Hi, I am an actress. I am a writer. I am currently a student at Cal State Northridge. Go Matadors!
Go Matadors! Sorry.
I'm in the middle, I wouldn't say a career switch, I would say a career add-on. I would like to be a social worker as well. I found out about Casa during a little bit of research. I wanted to give back and volunteer. I'm a wife and a mom. I have my husband here, my 2 little babies. Thanks to my husband for being so supportive during this journey. I have my family in Memphis watching. Hey, Memphis family, the Richmond family, and I also have my New York family watching as well. So happy to be here.
Wow, I don't know where you're gonna have the time for this. Amazing.
I know.
I'm impressed. Renata Belgian.
Yes, hello everyone. I found out through Casa when we first relocated from South Florida to California 7 months ago. We just connected our TV and that was one of the first commercials that came on. So I am very happy I joined this. I am a medical recruiter and I've been a nanny for 15 years. I want to shout out to my husband who's hopefully watching in the next room. And I know my sister in Austria is watching. Hi, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Lisa Basiri.
Hi, all. I don't know how to change the photo.
You're okay.
Okay. I'm a retired social worker. I worked for the regional center for almost 30 years. And I became a jack of all trades over the 30 years. You have to be really a generalist and learn about a lot of different things. The last 12 years, I was actually the fair hearing manager. So most of my encounters were with the Office of Administrative Hearings. It's nice to be in front of a judge and not have to worry about what I'm going to, no witnesses. I'm also a graduate of CSUN. Both undergrad and graduate, and my graduate work. And I first encountered a Casa many, many years ago at an IEP, and she was awesome. And it was just, I'm like, ooh, what? I need to know more about this. I had not had much dealing with them. And I knew that when I retired, which is almost a year now, that was what I wanted to do. So this is part of my promised retirement. I'm looking forward to getting back to kind of the basics. The part that I really missed a lot in the last probably 20 years of working. And I'm a first-time grandmother, and I can't believe my grandson's almost a year old. It's been a phenomenal year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that Lynn's going to take advantage of you and have you do a training for CASAs on understanding regional center, navigating regional center, and IPPs. That would be really phenomenal.
Oh, I have a whole, I used to do outreach with that for a lot of different parent groups and agencies. So, oh yeah, I may still have the slides.
You know what? The education attorney and the regional center retiree can together do something about understanding and navigating IEPs and IPPs. Okay, next.
Did all of it.
Rosa Ampuero.
Hi, Judge Zeke. I'm also a very proud Matador, and I have my background in marketing and community outreach and healthcare. I'm very thankful to Kayla and Taina for helping us navigate, especially me, the training via Casa. There's so many of us that have such diverse professional backgrounds, and to try to come in and have that, I guess, opportunity to learn something new and see how I can help others is great. I want to thank my support system. I have a lot of people watching. So thank you so much. Gracias, Mami. I learned about Casa as I was doing a lot of research after I had a family member that was somewhat navigating the somewhat of the child court system, and the powers of social media. Their Casa sponsored ad came up, and I signed up, and I'm really thankful that I did. And I would just want to give a shout out to my cousin Sally, to my mommy, to my brother Jose, to my best friend Denny, to Gia, and Cesar and Saira. And most importantly, I also want to say thank you, honey, to my boyfriend Nicholas, because during the training, it was really an emotional thing going on with our family. We had a couple of deaths, and He was very supportive as I went through everything. And it does take a village in general. And I'm helpful that I was able to kind of get through that obstacle so that I can now serve youth. So thank you.
You can put all that energy into this, into some great kid. Thank you. Congratulations. All these matadors. Kelsey Northridge, go. Thomas Amon Clark.
Hi, Judge. Thank you. Hi, y'all, CASA friends. I heard about CASA from volunteermatch.org. So it's a database that matches you to volunteer opportunities based on your interests. So this was an opportunity that came up. It looked amazing. I wanted to give back. I'm a pretty lucky guy, and I wanted to give back to, since I never had kids of my own. Shout outs is to my husband, who has been very supportive through this. Kevin, hi, I know you're watching from the office, like right across the wall over here. Both of my sisters are watching from Arizona. I have sprinkling of friends in Denver, out in Arizona, here in SoCal that are all watching right now. So thanks guys for your support. I appreciate it.
When you said your husband was in his office, I was like, do they still have those? Ryan Allen.
Hey guys, like a few people here, I was a UCLA student, graduated a couple of years ago, and now working in Hermosa Beach. Found out about CASA through a family friend in town who had been actively involved, I think for like 20 years in CASA up in the Bay Area. So had been planning to do it for a while. I don't have anyone watching, but my mom is very proud of me. And I'd like to thank Taina and the rest of the CASA staff for leading great training, and to you, Judge, for bringing a lot of energy. So appreciate it.
Thank you. You live in Hermosa. I was on the Redondo School Board, so Hermosa is dear in my heart.
Oh, nice. Right down the street.
There you go. Devin Adante.
Hi, Judge. My name is Devin, and I work as an executive assistant. I also went to Cal State Northridge, and I heard about CASA because I met a woman in a political leadership program who is a CASA in LA. And I had heard about it long ago, and when we had lunch that day and she really told me about her experience, that night I went home and watched the intro video, which kind of coincided with the beginning of lockdown. So it seemed like a perfect time to do the training.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
And the last one, I know that for the last 40 minutes, as I've been going through each person so slowly, your mother is screaming at YouTube, Yalla, Yalla. Jennifer Adam.
Hi, Judge, and congratulations to everyone. I became familiar with CASA through a really good family friend who's also a neighbor to my mom and dad, and a girlfriend of mine became a CASA in Antelope Valley. So when I learned about the role of a CASA, I was very excited to be a part of it because I've always wanted to do something to give back. I feel like I'm very lucky and I've been blessed, with lots of support, and I just want to be able to give back to those who are less fortunate. And not to compete with the Scrobal, but I work at the Getty Museum.
No, really?
Seriously.
Oh, is your dog Chloe watching also?
Oh, she's at my mom and dad's. So, shout out to mom and dad, who I think is watching, and to other family and friends who I think are watching as well.
Congratulations. Thank you. Love you.
You too.
Everyone's saying I skipped someone, but I don't think I skipped her. I think I called on Adrienne Flores.
You got her? Wonderful.
Right?
She's nodding, so we're good.
Okay. Congratulations, all of you.
We do still have some staff, however, and an intern who graduated that to be on that list as well.
Well, if you give me a decent list.
I'm sorry.
Because
They're on the
I
bottom
was
there.
told that Mary Haldeman only observed, and not to call on her, but she's not on the list you gave me. So I'm assuming Wendy's going to call out the names of the staff and the interns.
Well, let me send this to you right now.
Okay, I'm here. Okay, here we go. Avery Bell.
Thank you, Judge Zeidler. I work at Casa of Los Angeles. I'm the manager of special events, primarily for fundraising. And I'd like to give a shout out to my mom who's watching, who has supported me and pushed me through this. My husband, who has allowed me to complete the course, and a big shout out to our Casa class and Tiana.
Congratulations, thank you. You know, more power to you in terms of the fundraising aspect. Tamara Bingham.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tamara. I'm an advocate supervisor. Congratulations to everyone, especially my fellow Matadors. I'm really excited to have gone through the class. Shout out to Kayla. She did an awesome job. She and Taina. It was an awesome training, and I'm really excited to support many of the CASAs who I'm graduating with. I will be supporting them as their advocate supervisor. So congratulations, everyone.
Kayla and Taina are awesome. You all have the best training staff in the world. Timon Lowe.
Hi, I'm Timon Lowe. I am the accounting specialist at Casa, and I work with the CFO, Robert Berman. And then, yeah, I want to give shouts out to the Taina and all the advocate supervisors out there.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations. Joshua Saxelby Valle.
Hi, everyone. I'm actually the IT coordinator here at Casa. I've been with Casa for almost 4 years now. I don't have anyone watching. My wife had to go to work, but I know I have a lot of Casa family here watching with me. So thank you guys, and congratulations, everyone.
You know, years ago, I did a wedding where one of the people who worked in Casa was out running at lunchtime, and she came back in, and there was an IT guy working under her desk. And next thing you know, 3 years later, I was officiating their wedding. It was a great story. We did it in the Casa conference room. Caitlin De La Rosa Aceves.
Hi, I heard about Casa a few years ago on social media, and I was really interested in doing it, but I was busy with school. But fortunately, I'm now a graduate student at CSUN for social work, and I was given the opportunity to do Casa for my internship this year.
Great. Wow. Great opportunity. Anyone else I left off? Congratulations, Casa class. Thank you for everything that you are about to do, for your commitment to doing this project, for all that you learned in your training, whether it was about your own biases and values and morals, or whether it was about education needs of youth and making sure kids are safe, and understanding that most of our families come into the system not because of horrible parents, but because of people who just need a leg up and a little help to get their act together and their lives together, and they have kids who really need their parents to get the help they need and the kids to get their needs met. So thank you all very much, and congratulations. I look forward to seeing you in my court.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, everybody, feel free to turn on your cameras again.
Wait a second.
I'm so glad. It was so great hearing all of you, and just hearing all your stories. That was beautiful. Okay, so we have a couple other people that'd like to speak with you, to say hello and to tell you about what they do. So I'd like to quickly introduce our CEO, Wendy Julian.
Hi, everybody. I am feeling emotional and really excited about today, and so happy to see all of your faces, especially because of what that means for our kids at this point. I think you heard Judge Zeidler say that there really hasn't been a time in recent history when the need for a CASA was more pronounced than it is right now, where we have all of these young people who are they're at home and isolated, and in group homes and in probation halls and camps and in foster homes where they don't have strong relationships with caregivers. or they're in relative placements and they are struggling with school and with accessing their mental health issues and things that are more pronounced than even in the normal times. So the fact that we have a record number of Casa graduates today is, it's beautiful. It really is a lovely thing. And I want to say a couple of things about the people who make Casa possible. The first, many of you have mentioned, and that is our really extraordinary staff. And I know I saw Angela is on the call. Angela and Lucy and Chandler, our recruitment and outreach team, under Lynn's leadership, is so responsible for all of you being here today. And we're very thankful for their energy and their excitement in getting new volunteers. And we'd love to see you all help them bring in your friends and family and people you don't know by sharing about it. I'd also, as you've said, like to thank and acknowledge the incredible volunteer services team, the trainers. I mean, here we've got, Taina and Kayla and Emily doing a level of training that is unmatched. We actually teach other Casa organizations all over the country about how to do this training. And I've been through it myself and I learned so much. So I know where you're coming from and saying that you learned from it. Also, just the passion and dedication to our core values that team shows with the leadership of Jeremy and Lynn, of course, it's awesome. And I know it's a lot of work, and doing it on Zoom and keeping you all excited and entertained and engaged is a lot of work. And so I'm thankful. And then you all will have the opportunity to meet in a few moments the incredible advocacy team, some of whom you have in your class and some of whom you will be connected with as your supervisors. I love my opportunity to work with my supervisor on my individual Casa case. We have folks who have such wide backgrounds and diverse experiences, but who love the children and families that we work with. And so I'm excited for you all to get to work with all of them. I just want to send a special shout out to our non-advocacy, non-program folks that went through the training. You may wonder why we have our account specialist and our events manager and our RT director go through training. And it's for a really special and important reason. And that is that we have values with this organization, and we hire people who believe that children should be able to have an opportunity to thrive, and that all kids matter, and that the child welfare system is one that needs intervention and advocacy and an infusion of justice and love. And the way that they participate and show up is really, really awesome. I also want to share a couple of things about the kids and families that we serve. Judge Zeidler does such a beautiful job of giving examples of the exceptional cases. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I have learned being at Casa as a CEO for 4 years is that one of the most important things that Casa volunteers do are the very tiny things. And one of the biggest memories that I have was walking into our office, which none of you have ever been in. That's so weird, but you will be someday. And there was a boy, 12 years old or so, who was with his Casa. It was early in the morning and he was getting ready to go to court, but they hadn't been called yet. And, I know, and everyone on our staff knows, that a 12-year-old boy who has a Casa isn't there in our office for anything that looks like good news, right? I mean, our kids have experienced trauma and separation and isolation, and for them to have been referred to Casa, 1,300 out of 30,000 cases, they probably have some pretty extreme circumstances. And I walked up to them because we have an open office environment and you have to walk by everybody as you're coming in. And this young man gave me the biggest smile. I've never met him before. No idea who he is. He has no idea who I am.